But sometimes
Mhm.
we look at other kids and like, dang, I used to do this too. Like, Darius can't do this, Darius can't do that, and I'm looking at, I wish Darius could do this. But then one day I was like, Darius is perfectly Darius, and I tell parents to learn your child.
Yeah.
Look, write a book, the book of Mason. That's what you write. The book of Darius. You writing your own story. Don't look outside the window at somebody else's grass. Because
Mm,
grass look greener, but it's snakes over there.
that's right.
You just can't see them, but you have to maintain your own grass. Look at your child. Look at their progress. Look at the things they can do, not the things they cannot do, because the things.
Welcome back to another episode of the Moments of Joy podcast. I'm your host, Camille Joy, and today we are here with Irisa, who is Darius's mom, my autism star, and I have been following you online for years, maybe 2 years.
A long
And
time.
I remember following you on TikTok before you had not even 5,000 followers, like from the beginning.
Excellent.
This, yes, I was like, this lady is always so joyful, always dancing, always talking about autism. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Camille. I appreciate it.
Yes, you are so welcome. This month is Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month, and I really wanted to have you on because, first of all, Darius is famous now.
I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it too. Like, dude is famous.
Yes, I really didn't know I was famous till my kids were talking about him. One day, I just happened to walk in the living room, they're talking about Darius, and my son was like, Mom, because that's my favorite autistic. And I'm like, who? He's like, Darius, Darius. I'm like, you know Darius? And they 21 and 23. Like,
Ah,
yes, all the young kids know Darius. So
yes.
when you guys started, what was the fuel behind you getting started on TikTok?
When I first came to TikTok, I met this singer on Instagram, Nikki Page, and she did a song for autism for me. I said, Nikki, you're a great singer. I want to do an autism anthem. And, she's from California. And she's pretty famous out there in California. And she was like, yeah, I can do a song. And the song was Our Own Way. So I was like, well, I need to promote this song. So I decided to go on TikTok because my students were telling me, yeah, go to TikTok, go to TikTok. So that's when I started trying to promote this song. But then, the song got out there, but I didn't have any followers. But then I started showing more and more of Darius. And then people started connecting with us, his stemming sounds. And that's how it happened.
Yes. So you just said my student. So you're a teacher.
I'm a professor, a math professor at Kane University in New.
Awesome. I got
Yeah.
to insert a round of applause right there, okay? Because that's big, that's major, especially, as a Black woman, we love to see that. And I celebrate you just, in your own right.
Thank
Um, and so one of the most memorable videos that I remember of Darius is him stimming in the closet.
the closet stem. Yes, that's the
Yeah.
the video that went like super viral and really put Darius on the map. People started, doing the stemming sound. They started making beats with it, and then that's how people really started connecting with us by the closet stem.
Yeah. And I think you were able to educate a lot of people on what that, stemming is outside of physical.
Yes. So now people really know what stemming is. They always checking to see if Darius if he has any new stems. What is Darius stemming about now? The stems are melodic, musical to people, and people just find themselves, doing them. They know
Hmm.
what the stems. I didn't even realize what was going on. Like, wait, what? They named the stems. The stems have names, and I'm like, you guys named? Yeah, they have different names.
Wow.
You know,
Wow. I love that because it's really bringing, awareness and acceptance. That's the biggest piece to
exactly. That's
autism.
the big thing.
How old was Darius when he was diagnosed? And like, how did you, um, what were the first signs that maybe you noticed?
And so Darius started walking at 10 months and he was talking.
Mm.
Used to go to the little gym and he was the head of the class at the little gym. He was singing Blues Clues, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Then around 18 months, he regressed. He stopped talking. He stopped responding to his name. So we reached out to the Children's Specialized Hospital. They did testing, and then he started early intervention. Then he started preschool at 3 years old, but he didn't get the official diagnosis until 5 years old.
Wow. So when he started regressing, was it you that noticed, or was it the teachers?
Well, the first thing, he was still home at the time, so around 18 months, he wasn't in daycare or anything. My husband noticed it first. He was like, I
Okay.
was calling Darius and he wasn't responding to his name. And I'm like, what? And so then I came home and I'm like, he wasn't, because I would work, my husband worked that night. So during the day, he would watch Darius while I would go teach. And then he was able to recognize it because my husband has a brother with autism.
Oh, see,
Yeah, so
mine too.
he knew
Mine
the,
has a his
yeah.
well, not a brother. My husband has a twin brother, and they both have autistic kids.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so my husband brother, he's like in his 40s now, but he knew growing up. He saw autism way in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
I
that
love
was
that.
rare. That was rare though, back
Mm-hmm.
husband knew it, like maybe wow, maybe he may be autistic. So that's when we talked to his pediatrician about it, and then, we took the steps to get him the early intervention.
That's amazing. So you never felt like you were in denial. Did you accept right away?
No, I didn't accept it right away, but I
Okay.
kept it inside though. I went through like some denial, some grief, trying to find stuff on the internet about it. But then, shortly, not too long, it didn't take me too long because I'm this type of person. I want to get on the ball and start like, hey, how can I help him? Because I need
Yeah.
to help him. So I held it inside, but I still, continue to try to get him to help. But I'm still like going through stuff inside because you
Yeah.
worry a lot about a lot of things. So it's, 20 years later, I'm still worrying about things, but not the autism, when it comes to him, but just the world and the future. And, I'm getting older. So those are the type of things I worry about. I'm not in denial with the autism, but I'm just worried about his place in this world and how people are going to treat him and accept him, because we are getting older.
Yeah. And when you just say you guys are getting older, do you plan for what will happen if you are not here anymore?
So we working on planning everything like that. And and I'm the type of person too, a lot of people say, what you going to do, what you going to do. So I'm trying to plan, but also if he has to go to a group home or anything like that, I'm okay with that because I don't
Hmm.
really want to put this responsibility on other people. So I'm planning it, but I really like, do I want it to be on someone else? Because I raised my niece and nephew after their mother died. So I became an
Oh,
instant mom at 28 of two children, 6 and 11.
wow.
So do I want to put that responsibility on them? I don't know. So I'm
Hmm.
thinking about it, but I'm thinking like even if he has to go to a home, I want them to still be involved.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, it's a lot to think of because people say, well, I'm just going to let my children take care of my special needs child. But do I want that? Because my life is different. It's
Yes,
a
it
lot.
is.
Do I want this on somebody else? So I think about that stuff, but we are trying to put everything in place. So if someone has to take care of them, they're going to have the financial stability. They're going to have everything. They're going to have a house, everything to take care of them. So it's a lot to think about, but we don't know. But you just have to
Hmm.
have a lot of things in place and think about everything.
Yeah, I love that you said that because when I encourage parents to plan, it's just what you said. Like, okay, if they have to go to a home, at least let me put on paper what home is good, what home is
Uh,
nice. Look at this place, we've
mhm.
toured this place because not every place is horrible.
Yeah, that
And
place is
you
horrible.
know, different states in the United States have good resources to help them
Mhm. Yes.
for the rest of their life. Now, when he was he's still in school, but when
Yeah.
he was in the younger years in school, did you have to advocate hard for him? I feel like I find myself fighting with the school all the time. For Mason, he is in special education classroom. He's not potty trained. He has intellectual disability, and so they exclude them a lot. They don't allow them music, art, or trips. So I'm currently in a battle with them, and that's my most stress right now, I'll say. Was school in the younger years an issue at all?
Well, we live in New Jersey. We have a lot of resources in New Jersey. School was never like a real issue. We have some good schools and some good programs.
Mm.
So when Darius was in preschool, we did move to another district. So we did move around to different districts trying to get the best district. Because every school district is not created equal.
Yes,
so, so
we
you
know
might
this.
have to move, but everybody cannot move. So you
Mm-hmm.
do, some parents do have to advocate. We was fortunate that the schools were always good. He was always in a contained autism class that had inclusion, math. I mean, not math, music, art,
Mm-hmm.
trips, everything like that in the public school. So
Wow.
New Jersey is very good with that.
Mm-hmm.
They include them with a lot of things. There's a lot of programs, resources. Like now, Darius does buddy ball on the weekend.
Wow.
And so
What's
that's
that?
when, so Buddy Ball is a program where you have like neurotypical children that volunteer to help special needs children with sports. So it's like a
Mm.
special needs sports program. And we have all types of programs like this in New Jersey for them to do. So he does that, you know, in the winter he does basketball, in the spring and fall he does soccer. And it's
Okay.
always different programs at his school, resource fairs. It's always something. So I'm really blessed to be in New Jersey. It's
Yeah.
expensive as heck here, but we got a lot of resources, and I never really had to fight. Like little things came up here and there that I have to go to the school, but for the most part, the school has everything. They have that inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
So I
What
never really
advice
had to play with that.
what advice would you give to parents that are really struggling to like find programs or just you know move?
But a lot of people just can't get up and move.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to go to the schools, find other moms, and you guys have to fight the Board of Education. You have to fight the system. You got to get the teachers on board. You got to get the psychiatrists on board. You guys need this. You have to. There's organizations. You have to do the research and get organizations to help. You have to fight. Just don't send your kid to school and just say, okay, he's just going.
Yeah,
If you need more, you have to fight for more sometime. And it's sad, but you do.
you
And
do.
all states don't have the same amount of money, the same kind of funding, but there's organizations all over. So find those organizations. You might have to start one yourself.
There
You
you
might
go. There
start
you
some
go.
stuff. And parents get together and start little programs on the weekend yourself. You have to do it yourself. If it's not there, you got to get together and do it yourself.
Yes, thank you for that.
Mhm.
I took that nugget for myself.
Yeah, you got to do it for yourself. You got the
Yeah.
parents find the other parents and say, "We need this for our children," and get it.
Yes.
Fight.
Yes.
And we have senators, we have Congress people all in Washington. Reach out to your Congress people, your senators, and tell them we need this.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
Thank you for that. How old is Darius today?
He is 20 years old, and he's going to be
Wow.
21 in December, and then in 2026 he graduates. So we are
Oh my
working on that
goodness.
process, and it's a process.
Mm-hmm. I always think about first of all, I love talking to parents with older children because mine's is only 7.
Yeah,
I
you got
like,
to.
mm-hmm.
But you
I
do a
look
great job though. So by the time he gets to be
yeah.
20, it's gonna be all good for you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, I look and I am accepting. So like, we all are not going to have this autism where our kids are brilliant and we're going to be the next Barack Obama and when they know every single planet and
Yeah.
dinosaur. And so seeing you with your son helps me to be okay with wherever Mason lands.
That's what it is. It's like always tell parents to, you know how they say that every child on the spectrum is different, right? But sometimes we look at other kids and like, dang, I used to do this too. Like, Darius can't do this. Darius can't do that. And I'm looking at, I wish Darius could do this. But then one day I was like, Darius is perfectly Darius. And I tell parents to learn your child.
Yeah.
Look, write a book. The book of Mason. That's what you write. The book of Darius. You writing your own story. Don't look outside the window at somebody else's grass. Because grass look greener, but it's snakes over there.
That's right.
You just can't see them, but you have to maintain your own grass. Look at your child. Look at their progress. Look at the things they can do, not the things they cannot do, because the things they cannot do, you're going to do that for them. You're going to help them get there, right? That's what we for. We there to help them do the things they cannot do. And we're going to, the things that they can do is all good, but the things they cannot do, we're going to help them get there and achieve and progress. And that's how I look at Darius. He's great. He has greatism. That's what I say.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep, I know that's right. I see him. Your recent video that went viral when you brought him in Walmart. I knew it was a joke when you were saying, "Hey, he wants a job." A lot of people took it literally and really, went back and forth with you in the comments. You want to speak a little bit about that?
So the thing is, okay, I know that Darius cannot work at Walmart independently. He cannot get up and go to work and just go work at Walmart. But he can have a job coach.
That's right.
So there's people that go to work with them. They teach them a task, right? And they do this certain task. We all do that at work. Don't you learn your job? You go to work, you learn your job. You got a manager, you got a supervisor. We all got somebody helping us and over us. So a job coach, so people weren't really familiar with job coach. But my whole thing is a job coach, special needs people are creating jobs for everybody, right? Without special needs, some of these people won't have jobs. They are making jobs for people. Teachers going to special ed. That's a job because we have autistic individuals, other people with different abilities. But yeah, a job coach can go to work with him because once he graduate, right? So working on that now. We did his it's called an NJ CAT. They do the assessment. They tell me what tier he is at, how much money he's going to get. So this money tells me, well, he can go to a day program. They're going to pay for a day program, and they may pay for music therapy. So I have a whole list of things that he can do. But a job is one that he can do because the money can go to the job coach to help him, work. So if that's one of the options that I want him to do, he can do that. But people don't realize that he cannot do that. What they think is he's nonverbal, so they think nonverbal is non-thinking.
Yeah.
Just because he can't communicate doesn't mean that he's not talented in anything, that he cannot learn a task or a skill. He can learn a lot of skills.
That's
but
right.
You have to be patient, So, when other parents looking at me, your child could do anything.
Yes.
It may take some time, but so be it. Hopefully we have enough time.
That's right.
That's all it is.
Because you see it all the time. Sometimes there's baggers in the grocery store or stock. They're doing a stock, or they might work at Chick-fil-A. Different restaurants that do hire people with disabilities.
Can go to work. There's people with autism that can walk to work, drive. Some of them that drive to work and they go to their job, but they still have a supervisor. They have someone taking care of their finances, but they still are human beings and part of society. We all are needed to make this world go around. When I go to work, I teach, but I want to go. When I gotta go pee, I want to go into a nice room, right? So there's somebody responsible for cleaning that, and I appreciate them because they are important too. My job is we all work for the university, and we all are important because I can't teach and clean the bathroom.
That's right.
I appreciate everybody, and everybody can find a job. Everyone is needed in this world. People need to stop looking down at people. I
That's
know I
right.
talk a lot, girl.
Nope, that's what you're here for. That's why we had you on. um, we've seen the good side of social media, and sometimes there is a bad side to social media. So I remember, and I keep this example of you in my head too when I'm doing things. Just be careful or whatever, because I always say people are crazy. But you guys had one time the police called to your house.
Yeah, we were swatted, and
Swatted.
it was very detrimental, traumatic. And the thing is, it reminded me of you heard about the autistic kid that was just shot in
Yeah.
Idaho,
Yes.
and that brought it back to me. A lot of situation brings it back to me. Like, dang, that day when that happened, it could have had went very south.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
Yep.
just telling one of my friends about it. So when they came to my home, as soon as I opened the door, they pulled me out, and that
Mm,
bitch was still inside. And
yeah.
my first thought is running back in the house, like I'm
Right.
a protector. But the thing is, as they were talking to me, I kept on saying over and over and over, my son is 18, he's autistic, he doesn't understand. And they talking to me like this, and I can't hear you. Because I
Right.
want you to know that my son is autistic, he's 18, he doesn't understand. Because if anything goes wrong, I told you over and over and over,
Mm,
my son's autistic. That's all I need you to know. I don't care about why I can't hear nothing you saying. And that's all I kept on saying because that was very important. Cause he
mhm.
a big dude. You seen him. Everybody saying he's
Yeah.
big. He 18, and one false move or one he doesn't know them. He could get aggressive,
Mhm.
anything, pick up something. He doesn't understand. So I needed to get that in their head. And why did somebody do something like that to me? I don't know. It was a very bad situation. They put my life in danger. They put the life of my son in danger.
Yes.
Was it a joke to them? They think it's funny, but it wasn't right. Someone, whoever did that, I hope they were able to come back and look at my videos and hear the pain in my voice and see like this was serious, and it
Right.
was a serious situation. And the
Yes, it
only thing
was.
that saved me, the saving grace, was I have a sign on my door saying that an
Mm,
autistic person lives here. And if that sign wasn't there, they would just came in the house and we would have been
wow.
caught off guard.
Yes. Wow. Thank God it ended like it
Mhm,
did.
God did. Yes.
Mhm. And you were able to get him out right out of the shower and
So what they did was once they pulled me out, they went upstairs and they sent like a female officer to
okay.
watch him while they did whatever. I don't even know what they were doing. They didn't want to show
Mhm.
those videos. So
Right.
that's the story.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, well, I'm glad that you guys are well and that didn't end like we see it on the news. Um, and we are advocating, so that hopefully we this sharing on social media and promoting awareness and acceptance is advocacy
Yeah.
because we're creating some normalcy to autism.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, sometimes people would just keep their relatives in the house, or oh, that's just so and so, he's crazy or he's
Yeah.
retarded, because we don't use that word anymore, but that's what they would
Anymore.
say back then.
Mhm. Exactly.
Mhm.
Now
So
you go to somebody's house and you see somebody who's that, and they hiding them in the room and stuff. Like what the heck? Yeah.
yeah. We even when I think about the movie Soul Food, we saw Uncle Pete never came out
Yeah.
the room. But when we
Yeah.
know now, Uncle Pete was probably he special needs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So you mentioned Darius being big in size and tall and still much like a kid.
Yeah.
Um so do you ever let him go anywhere by himself, or is he always with someone?
He has to always be with someone. Like
Mm.
he's not at that point where he can go anywhere by himself. He doesn't understand the awareness of danger and things like that. So he's not on that level. He's not able to comprehend that.
Mhm.
So he
And
has someone.
how old was Darius when you got him potty trained?
Darius was 3 years old when he was potty trained.
Oh wow, that's good.
So
I'm
once he
struggling over
started
here
school,
still.
yeah, once he started school, the teacher said, "You know what? We got to get him potty trained because they wanted the kids to be potty trained."
Mhm.
So what
Yeah.
we did was, I would send him to school with the pull up on or the diaper, and then the teacher would swap it with the underwear when he got to school. So
Okay.
it started, and then when he got back on the bus, she would put the diaper back on until he came home,
Mm,
and then I would put the underwear back on. I had a
okay.
potty in every room we were in, so that's how I did it. So like, if you got to go to the potty, it's right here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you come to my house, I had a potty in the living room.
I love it though.
We gotta work on it. Like, it's hard, but you
Mm-hmm.
have to take the pull up off. You have to take the underwear off and put the underwear. Take the pull up or the diaper off and put the underwear
Mm-hmm.
on. And they have to
Mm-hmm.
get used to that,
Okay.
because
Thank
you
you.
got to think that this was 3 and he was totally nonverbal. He didn't really understand, but he was able to get potty trained. And then there was a schedule, so every
Mm-hmm.
time he would eat, we would take him. And then I
Mm-hmm.
started with the little signs on the door, the pet pictures and stuff. So we did
Mm-hmm.
that. So, he got potty trained like that.
And then so he just eventually started going on his own.
He just goes, yeah, he goes on his own. He gets up at
Mm-hmm.
night if he has to go. Then he get up
Mm.
and go, and then yeah. So he
Yeah,
started
that's
going on
good.
his own. He had some
Okay.
accidents, so in the beginning it wasn't like perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe up to like 8. He still would have an accident here and there, and that's
Okay.
when I would do the mattress covers to protect the mattress. So I did that and stuff like that. So if he would like have an accident in the middle of the night, I would just pull the sheet out. And then
Yeah.
what I did was I put a regular sheet on the mattress, right? Then put the protector on top, and then another sheet. So if he peed, it just came off, and then we was back. I was tired.
Creative.
Yeah, get back in the bed. It's dry. So he
Yeah.
did accident. So then we limit his water intake at night and stuff. So like that. So there's certain things, but it depends on every child. I don't know how you are doing. Your son is how old?
Mhm.
7.
7. Mhm. So he will go to the bathroom as long as we bring him to the bathroom, he'll go, like, every half hour, but it just never clicks that I gotta go. If I don't bring him, he won't go. He'll just
Yeah,
go
yeah,
wherever. Even if he has underwear on, he'll just pee on the floor
yeah.
or pee
So
on the
you
couch.
could try to have like a potty wherever he's at, so he can doesn't have to go into the bathroom.
I
Cause
never
that's
thought of that.
we always had, like, he wouldn't we would have the potty right there. He's
Mhm.
playing, running around.
No
This is
excuse.
the potty. Just use it right there, and then you just dump the potty. Because going to another room and going, they not gonna do it at first.
Mhm.
They playing, they not gonna do it. So we had the potty for a while. And
Okay.
kept it right in the room. People like, you got a potty? I moved it. If we was in the bedroom, I brought the potty in there. We was in the
Yeah.
kitchen, I brought the potty in, and so I just got the potty, sit on the potty, so they get
Okay.
comfortable with that. So try the potty method,
Mhm. I
and they have
will.
like all the potties and stuff, because they have
Mhm.
potties for people that cannot like get out of bed and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you bring the potty, and if you don't want people to see it, that's well, don't come to my house. You don't
Yeah,
want
I
to
was
see.
gonna say we don't have company like that anyway. That's not family, so that's right. You already know.
You want to see nothing going on over here, don't come.
That's right.
Try the potty like that.
Okay.
I tell parents try the potty. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. That was
hmm
good for parents to hear. So you said your husband had a brother who was autistic. So did you find it easier once you received the diagnosis to tell your family and get acceptance from your family, or did you face some ignorance even with family?
Well, the family that was close to me, like my sister and her kids, they accepted it right away. Especially the little kids. It seemed like little kids are so accepting. Little kids, you tell them something, and okay, he's
Mm-hmm.
autistic. I,
Yeah.
I had some problems with like some people in my family about like you never go anywhere. You use his autism as an excuse for not going anywhere. But it's hard though when you are invited somewhere. You got to plan
Yep.
outfit, extra clothing, what they're going to eat, what they might do.
Yep.
It's a whole thing. It's not that
Yes, it
easy. And
is.
then you not having a good time. Not saying
Mm-mm. At
I try to be
all.
careful with my words, because sometimes when you say words, people think you saying autism is bad. I'm not saying autism is bad, but
No,
I'm not enjoying myself because my focus is always on my kid.
that's
You
right.
making sure they having a good time, making sure everything runs smoothly, making sure, you know, they not getting in anyone's way. So it's a lot of work when you go out. So it's just easier to stay home sometimes.
It is, and especially if they're not enjoying it anyway. You
Exactly.
know.
They want to go home too. Darius,
Hmm.
he ready to go. He take off his clothes. It's time to go.
You're like, all right, I got the note.
He doesn't
Let's go.
know. He have company. Darius would go upstairs and come back downstairs nude, and everybody be like, "Party's over." He starts turning off the lights. So he's like, "I got
Cute.
to go home."
We got the cue.
Mhm.
Yes. So when it comes to like taking care of your mental health of all of these years, because we know as moms raising autistic children that it's not easy. You have meltdowns and you have them getting up in the middle of the night, and it could really take an emotional toll on the parents, on your marriage, on everything, relationships and uh,
Yeah.
just being a mom. So how were you able to keep your mental health strong?
You know, at first it was difficult. Everything is difficult at first, but then you have to realize that you have to stop and say, listen, you know, I need me time. I need to identify as Irisa and not always Darius's mom. And always like tell parents, it doesn't have to be big. You just have to take some time for yourself, even if it's 15 minutes. You have to do something that you like, even if it's your favorite show, favorite snack, because we start losing us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you don't want to lose you. You know, you still want to do some of the things that you like to do. Have lunch with a friend, make a phone call. You know, just simple things. Because a lot of people think that they have to do something like go on vacation. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that means a lot. But little things mean a lot too. You know, just keep
Right.
it small and but it's 24 hours in a day. Squeeze some happiness. Just a little bit for your mental health. And that's all I do, you know. When my job is kind of flexible,
Mm-hmm.
so I get like days I'm off and then in, the summer I'm off for 4 months.
Oh,
So
that's
I get to
great.
do things that I want to do, hang out with friends sometimes, and I'm okay with that schedule. It doesn't have to be accepted by others. This is what we do. My husband and I, we go to lunch during the day. You know, people go to dinner at night. We do it during the day. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
has to work for you. And a lot of people always want to please everything else, go by the society norms, go by your norms. You make the new rules. It has to work for your family. If you want a picnic in the backyard, have a picnic in that backyard. If you can't go out, have it inside. Do a movie night inside. You know, this is your life, and you can make it work for you.
That's
And
right.
start always small. People always think it got to be big, and and it got to cost all this money. No, start at home. Make it work for you.
Yeah,
No, that's
that's
it.
right. That's right. If there is a mom or dad listening and they just received an autism diagnosis and they're, maybe overwhelmed, they don't know what the future would be listening, would you give them a note and some encouragement?
I was just telling you guys, take it day by day. Today is what, Thursday? Work on Thursday. Don't worry about next month, 2 years from now. You take it as it comes. Work on it right now. Work on the now. We have to live life like that. Work on now. Take it day by day. If the child not harming nobody, it's okay. You just have to let things go. Be patient. Pray and pray. Pray for patience. I pray for patience all the time. He's autistic. He doesn't understand. He's trying to figure it out himself. Pray, because I always put I act like I'm him. Like if I was in a situation like him, what would I do? If I was in a stressful situation, what would I do?
Mm-hmm.
You have to think about that sometimes 'cause they are in stressful situation they don't understand, and we are like that too. But we are able to get out. But imagine we trapped and cannot. So just put yourself in your child's shoes and be patient. Take it day by day. That's it. That's all you can do. And learn them, learn everything that you can about them to prevent melt. You can prevent meltdowns. You know, don't take your child like Darius love food, right? So if we go to an event, don't sit me by the table with all the food. Sit me in the back, you know. So
Yes.
if you know the triggers, start knowing the triggers, and you know, make a notebook of things, and because it's going to happen, but you can control some of these things. You know, if you know they don't like certain socks, don't buy them.
Yeah.
Don't, you know, Darius don't like thick socks. So I'm in the store checking these too thick, these too thick. So you gotta, you know, they don't like them. Don't force them to wear some thick socks. Imagine somebody force you to wear something that you don't want to wear. Think of it like that.
Yeah.
You gotta
Good.
start thinking, if that was you, what would you do?
That's good.
If you was presented with some food, you at somebody's house, they gave you some food, and you know you don't like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They don't
That's
want to
right.
eat it. Don't make them eat
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to start thinking in terms of these are just they human beings, and they like things. Some things they like, some things they don't like. And you know, you have to work around it. If they don't like it, they don't like it. You know, give them something else.
And the last nugget is for people who will see this clip on social media and scroll, and they don't have a family member with autism. What note would you love people to know? What would you like people to know about autism? Those that might judge in the grocery store or look on like they are less than.
And I tell you something, autism, the numbers are growing. Either you gonna have a kid with autism, somebody you know gonna have a kid with autism, somebody gonna live on your block with autism. The numbers are not decreasing. So it's time to learn about it, accept it, awareness, be kind to people in general. Don't judge people, because we all fighting something. Because you know what, I don't like to say this, but anything can happen to any of us. We could be walking down the street, get hit by a car, and now we got some type of disability.
Yeah.
You know, so life is not promised. You know, everyone is just here lifing. And
Yeah.
everybody just need to be kind and just be aware, and just love one another. You know, just, you know, God does not make any mistakes. You know,
That's
He doesn't. We are all here for a reason. Everyone has a purpose. And that person that you judging may have a message for you. Yeah.
That's right. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I appreciate you. I know this is going to help somebody and really have them to get to know who you are, your story, the why behind your brand and what you guys are doing. And I appreciate you for being on today. Anything else you want to share?
I just want to say, be you and be great. Darius always say this: be you and be great, and you can be anything. And I always say, words have power. Always put that positivity in the universe. Don't let anyone steal your shine, baby, baby.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Moments of Joy podcast. And always remember that you have the option to choose joy. Bye-bye.